Welcome to the European Association for Higher Education Advancement's YouTube and podcast channel. Today we're diving deep into something that's super relevant, I think, especially if you're in the business world, stress management.
Yeah.
And you know who better to get insights from than the EACA itself.
Okay, absolutely.
They've got this framework. It's called the 5 Pillars of Stress-Free Success.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, it's a game changer.
It is, it's interesting because the EACA, as a quality assurance and accreditation body, they really have a vested interest in seeing professionals thrive.
Yeah.
You know, they're not just talking about stress, like in a vacuum. They're looking at its direct impact on success in the business world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's break down these pillars.
Okay.
First up is productivity powerhouse. And this one hits hard.
Yeah.
The EAC's research found that a whopping 75%
of professionals who reported feeling burned out also struggled with managing their stress.
That's a huge connection.
Yeah. It makes you realize that, you know, it's not just about pushing through and working harder. Unmanaged stress can actually sabotage your productivity.
Oh, yeah.
It's like trying to run a car with the parking brake on.
Oh.
You might get somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to be slow,
Right.
inefficient, and incredibly frustrating.
And I think we've all felt that, right?
Absolutely.
That feeling of being stuck, spinning your wheels, but not getting anywhere. What could you achieve if you could release that brake and really hit the gas?
That's the power of this first pillar.
Yeah.
By managing stress effectively, you unlock a level of focus and efficiency that simply isn't possible when you're constantly operating in overdrive.
Yeah.
The ASIHEA even found that individuals who actively practiced stress management techniques saw an average increase of 20% in their perceived productivity.
Wow.
That's significant.
Okay, that's a number I can get behind.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when you're calmer and more centered, you can think more clearly, prioritize tasks effectively, and actually get things done.
Precisely. And that segues perfectly into the next pillar, Decision Dynamo. You see, the EAEA highlights how chronic stress can literally hijack our brains.
Really?
Leading to impulsive choices and clouded judgment. They actually did a study where they presented stressed individuals with a series of business decisions. And the results were fascinating.
Well, tell me more. What did they find?
They found that stressed individuals were significantly more likely to make risky decisions, avoid difficult choices altogether, or base their decisions on emotional reactions rather than logic and analysis.
Wow. So it's like stress puts you in a reactive mode.
Exactly.
Whereas effective stress management helps you step back and make those strategic, well-thought-out decisions that are critical for success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about having that mental clarity to weigh the pros and cons, assess the long-term implications, and make choices that align with your goals. The EEA even suggests the techniques like mindfulness or deep breathing exercises right before important meetings or decision-making moments to help regain that sense of calm and focus.
That's brilliant advice.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to something really important.
What's that?
Stress management isn't just about feeling better. It's about equipping yourself to make better choices in every area of your business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, building on that idea of clear-headed decision-making, let's move on to communication champion. The third pillar. Have you ever noticed how stress can completely derail your ability to communicate effectively?
I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
Snapping at colleagues, misinterpreting emails, fumbling over my words and presentations.
Yeah.
It's like stress flips a switch, and suddenly I can't string a coherent sentence together.
It's incredibly common.
Yeah.
The EAEA search suggests that unmanaged stress disrupts our prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for higher-level thinking and communication.
Yeah.
This can lead to miscommunications, conflicts, and damaged relationships, all of which can have a ripple effect on your professional life.
It makes you wonder how many workplace dramas could be avoided if people were better equipped to manage their stress and communicate more effectively.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
The EAA emphasizes they advocate for building communication skills specifically designed to handle stressful situations.
So like what kinds of things?
Things like active listening, clear and concise messaging, and learning to express your needs and boundaries assertively.
Yeah.
These are tools that can help you navigate difficult conversations,
right?
Build stronger relationships with colleagues and clients, and ultimately create a more harmonious and productive work environment.
So it's almost like stress management because from a professional development, giving you an edge in those critical communication moments.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about physical fortress.
Okay.
Which, to be honest, is something I personally need to work on.
Really?
I tend to let stress manifest in my body, and it's not pretty.
It's important to remember that, we're not just minds.
Right.
We're physical beings as well.
Yeah.
And the EAEA doesn't shy away from addressing the toll that chronic stress takes on our bodies.
Right.
They have some pretty compelling research that links prolonged stress to a weakened immune system.
Oh.
Digestive issues, headaches, muscle tension, and even an increased risk of cardiovascular problems.
It's like our bodies are screaming at us to slow down and take care of ourselves.
Right.
But we often ignore those signals until it's too late.
Exactly. And that's why they stress the importance of physical fortress. It's about building resilience, not just mentally and emotionally, but physically as well.
Okay.
This could involve things like regular exercise, getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, and incorporating relaxation techniques like yoga or meditation into your routine.
It's fascinating because we often compartmentalize these things for health, well-being.
Right.
But the EHE is showing us that they're all interconnected. You can't truly thrive in one area if you're neglecting the others.
That's a profound insight.
Right.
And it leads us perfectly into the final pillar, mental marvel, which focuses on the often overlooked mental and emotional toll of unmanaged stress. We tend to think of stress as this temporary thing. But the EEA's research paints a different picture. They've found that chronic stress can actually rewire our brains.
Really?
Making us more susceptible to anxiety, depression, and burnout.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
So what can we do to build this mental marvel within ourselves and protect our mental well-being?
The EAA suggests a multi-pronged approach, and it's highly personalized.
Okay.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
It's about identifying your unique stressors, your personal tendencies, and finding the tools and techniques that resonate with you.
So there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Okay. It's like we're building a mental gym. Strengthening our resilience and our ability to cope with whatever challenges come our way.
Exactly.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From productivity powerhouse to decision dynamo, from communication champion to physical fortress, and finally mental marvel.
It's a pretty powerful framework. What's fascinating is how interconnected these pillars are.
Yeah.
The EAEA's research actually suggests that progress in one area often leads to improvements in others.
That makes sense.
Imagine a scenario where someone starts prioritizing their physical health through exercise and better sleep.
Where do you think that leads them?
Well, as their physical well-being improves, they're likely to experience increased energy and focus, which can then boost their productivity.
Right.
This, in turn, can lead to a greater sense of accomplishment and confidence, reducing stress and further enhancing their ability to communicate effectively and make sound decisions.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
One small change creates a ripple effect that impacts all these different areas of our lives.
And that's what makes this framework so compelling. It's not just about addressing individual stress symptoms.
Right.
It's about creating a holistic approach to well-being that sets you up for success in every aspect of your life, especially in the demanding world of business.
Okay.
But let's get practical for a moment.
Okay.
We've talked about the importance of these pillars, but what about the how? How do we actually put these concepts into action?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's one thing to understand the theory.
Right.
But actually implementing these changes can feel overwhelming.
And that's where the EHI's practical approach comes in.
Okay.
They emphasize the importance of personalized strategies.
Mm-hmm.
What works for one person might not work for another. It's about identifying your unique stressors, your personal tendencies, and finding the tools and techniques that resonate with you.
So there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Precisely.
Got it.
For some, it might be about establishing clear boundaries.
Okay.
Between work and personal life.
Yeah.
This could involve setting specific work hours, limiting after-hours emails, and creating dedicated time for relaxation and non-work activities.
Okay, cool.
For others, it might be about incorporating mindfulness practices into their daily routine. Maybe it's a 5-minute meditation each morning, or practicing mindful breathing techniques throughout the day to help regulate their stress response.
And let's not forget the power of social connection.
Oh, absolutely.
The EIEA found that strong social support systems act as a buffer against stress.
Yeah.
So nurturing relationships with family, friends, and colleagues can provide a much-needed outlet for sharing challenges, seeking advice, and simply feeling connected.
It's a reminder that we don't have to go through this alone. And sometimes it's important to acknowledge when professional help is needed. Therapy or counseling can provide a safe space to explore deeper-rooted issues that contribute to stress and develop coping mechanisms tailored to individual needs.
So it's really about building a personalized toolkit.
It is.
Maybe it's a combination of mindfulness techniques, exercise, getting enough sleep, setting those boundaries, and seeking support when needed.
And the EEA stresses that this is an ongoing process. It's not about achieving some perfect state of Zen-like calm. It's about developing a set of skills and practices. You can continuously refine and adapt as your life and career evolve.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The EAAA suggests that stress in manageable doses can actually be a catalyst for growth.
Really?
It's about reframing our relationship with stress. Not as something to be feared, but as a potential source of energy and motivation.
I've heard of the concept of good stress or eustress.
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly. Eustress is that positive type of stress that motivates us to take action, to challenge ourselves, and to ultimately achieve our goals. It's the feeling of excitement before a big presentation. The adrenaline rush that helps you meet a deadline. Or the sense of accomplishment after completing a challenging task.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
It is.
Managing the negative impacts of stress while harnessing its potential to drive us forward.
Precisely. And that's where the EHA's framework shines. It's not about eliminating stress altogether, which is unrealistic. It's about developing the skills and resilience to navigate stress effectively, to differentiate between the types of stress we're experiencing and to ultimately use stress as fuel for personal and professional growth.
It's like we're taking control of the narrative, shifting from being a victim of stress to becoming its master.
And that's a powerful shift indeed.
It is.
The EA's research has shown that individuals who adopt this mindset are not only more successful in managing stress, but also experience greater levels of job satisfaction, creativity, and overall well-being. They're able to embrace challenges, take risks, and ultimately achieve their full potential, both in the workplace and beyond.
This is all so insightful.
Thank you.
But let's bring it back to our listener. What does this all mean for someone who's tuning in today? Maybe feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, or like stress is holding them back in their business or career. What's the takeaway message here?
The takeaway message is that you have the power to change your relationship with stress. The EAE's 5 pillars of stress-free success provide a roadmap, a framework for understanding the multifaceted nature of stress and developing personalized strategies to manage it effectively. It's about making a conscious choice to prioritize your well-being, to invest in your mental and physical health, and to cultivate the skills and resilience needed to navigate the demands of the modern business world.
It's a reminder that stress management is not a luxury.
It's an essential ingredient for success.
It is.
It's an investment in your future, your well-being, and your ability to thrive.
Yeah.
Both personally and professionally.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, right.
Start small, experiment with different techniques, and find what works for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all at once.
Right.
Just take that first step, and then another and another.
Yep.
Before you know it, you'll be well on your way to creating a more balanced, fulfilling, and stress-free life.
It is.
It's like we're finally giving ourselves permission to prioritize our well-being, and that's a powerful thing.
It is indeed. And what's fascinating is that by taking care of ourselves, we're actually becoming more effective in the business world.
Okay.
We make better decisions,
Yeah.
communicate more clearly, and are more resilient in the face of challenges.
That's a win-win.
It is.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the EAA's 5 pillars of stress-free success, what's one final thought you'd leave our listener with?
I'd say this.
Okay.
Think about which of these 5 areas resonates with you the most right now. Is it your productivity, your decision-making, your communication style, your physical well-being, or your mental and emotional state?
Okay.
That's your starting point. Focus on strengthening that one pillar.
Okay.
And you'll be amazed at the ripple effect it has on the others. And ultimately on your overall success.
Absolutely. It's like finding the key that unlocks your full potential.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Please don't forget to follow the European Association for Higher Education Advancement on YouTube and social media.